Hey guys, what's up? It's Ameriie and I am finally back with a book haul. I actually can't remember all of the books that I picked up since my last book haul. There were a lot of them, so the ones that kind of like were right there on the top of my head, here they are. Plus I actually keep a separate pile. Like if I pick up books and I definitely want to read them really soon, I put them aside in this like little special area of the bookcase that lets me know that these are the like my next ups. Not technically a TBR, but kind of the next thing that I'll be reading on my TBR. First of all, I missed you guys. There's been a lot going on. I'm actually going to do a separate update video, just kind of letting you know the ins and outs and you know what's been going on, what's coming up. But this is about the book haul and there are, I think, 20 plus books. So let's get started. Okay. Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven. Holding Up the Universe is about a friendship between a girl and a boy. The girl is known as like the fattest girl in America or something like that. And the boy has a problem with recognizing faces. He can't recognize who they are. He picks up from clues, smell, and other things where he knows, okay, that's my brother or that's my friend. So this book is about their friendship. I know nothing else about it. Actually, I think I told you this before, how I don't like to know too much, especially about contemporary books, because it's not like there's different world building or anything. Everything hinges on a relationship or a person's inner journey. So the more I know, the more I feel spoiled. So in a nutshell, a friendship between a girl previously known as the fattest girl in America and a boy who cannot recognize faces, even the faces of his friends and family. I did a little flipping around in this book too, and I really loved what I read. Like, something about her prose is really engaging. History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. I'm really excited to read this. This is about a boy who has to deal with the loss of his ex-boyfriend. I think his ex-boyfriend drowned. I think that's what happened to him. And part of his grieving process is getting to know his late ex-boyfriend's boyfriend that was left behind, which could be very awkward for a number of reasons. Really loved More Happy Than Not, so I really can't wait to get to this one. Human Acts by Han Kang. I read The Vegetarian last year and really loved it. It's amazing how much she can pack into such short volumes. This story revolves around the killing of a young student during a student uprising in South Korea, and it's kind of like the hows, whos, and whens of that event. And that's all I know about the story, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be in for a strange ride. I loved The Vegetarian so much. It was a very strange story. It's kind of weird. I don't think it'll be too weird if you're worried about getting into things that are too strange. It's such a short book that even if you're delving into the weird for a little bit, I think it'll be okay. It's worth reading because it's so beautiful and it's heart-wrenching and there are so many layers. So I'm going into this book with pretty high expectations. City of Saints and Thieves by Natalie C. Anderson. The book takes place in Africa. I want to say Nigeria, but I could totally be wrong. The main character is a girl who is a refugee from the Congo, and she's basically trying to figure out her way, working through the streets. There are a lot of gangs, maybe like a big gang boss, and she's using her wits to survive. It's been called Ocean's 11 meets Blood Diamond. I was definitely there for this book. I've been seeing this in both the adult section and the YA section, so if you're looking for it, you may have to bounce between the two sections to find it. Try the YA section first, but some bookstores do put it in the adult section. Very excited to read this one. I'm going to stop saying that I'm very excited to read this one because I'm excited to read all of the books. I don't buy a book unless I'm excited to read it, although I do place certain priority on some of the books as far as my must read, which I'll get to in a second. One of the books I'm going to be reading a lot sooner rather than later is The Hate You Give, which, okay, I'll tell you that in a second, but this is by Angie Thomas. In the UK, the copy is, they have the first letters here, so it spells out thug. And Angie Thomas is a huge Tupac fan. It's layered throughout here. She also used to be a rapper, which I thought was really interesting. She's a former teen rapper whose greatest accomplishment was having an article about her in Write On magazine. She holds a BFA in creative writing. Angie is a really awesome person. I heard her speak when I was in the UK, and she was doing an event with another author who is in my pile as well, Patrice Lawrence, and I ended up purchasing a book in the UK. Even though I had no room, I had to make it happen because I really wanted to read that book. So The Hate You Give basically surrounds the shooting of a young, unarmed black boy. Angie, why did I say Angie? The main character's name is not Angie, her name is Star. Star goes to a school in either an upper class or some kind of neighborhood, but the school is majority white. She lives in another neighborhood that's majority black. Depending on where she is, people have varying views on how things happened, if the police were justified in shooting the young boy, and she also knew the young boy. If you feel a little overwhelmed and are a little hesitant to get into this because of the subject matter, I will say that the few pages that I saw when I was flipping through, they were really humorous. It's really funny. So I think she really balances humor with a lot of the tragedy and my camera stopped recording for some reason. A side note, but it's not really a side note. I saw, I forgot what reporter who was saying this on television. They were saying how they didn't like it when, entertainers or whoever went into political things. And I can understand why someone would say, oh, politics and religion, you don't discuss that. But some of the issues that are happening in our lives today, yesterday, last year, for some people, it's a luxury to say, oh, that's political, I don't really want to talk about it. For a lot of other people, it's not political. It's a way of life. That's just what you're experiencing. That's what you're living. It's not a political thing. It's a life thing. So, okay, side note over. That said, I don't want to say that this is political because it's not, in my opinion. It's life. But again, Angie Thomas balances it with a lot of humor. Orange Boy by Patrice Lawrence. This is the author who was also at the event. It was like a co-author event with Angie Thomas in the UK at Waterstones. It was shortlisted for the Waterstones Children's Book Prize. So the tag is not cool enough, not clever enough, not street enough for anyone to notice me. Because he's from the streets, but he's not like really street savvy. I was the kid people looked straight through. Not anymore. Not since Mr. Orange. 16-year-old Marlon has made his mom a promise. He'll never follow his big brother Andre down the wrong path. So far it's been easy, but when a date ends in tragedy, Marlon finds himself hunted. They're after the mysterious Mr. Orange and they're going to use Marlon to get him. Marlon's out of choices. Can he become the person he never wanted to be to protect everyone he loves? And it has a really interesting cover too. So it's shortlisted for the Waterstones Children's Book Prize and it's a Costa Book Awards winner 2016. So I am definitely here for that. Based on a true story by Delphine Devian. I don't really know how to pronounce this name. This is published by Bloomsbury. This was sent to me from my Bloomsbury UK team. I went to the UK recently. I think I told you guys. Oh, you saw my Insta story. Okay, I went there recently and they sent me a few books. It's always so great getting like books. That's like the best. This is a thriller similar to Gone Girl. Looking at the flap, it kind of reminds me of Single White Female. The main character meets another girl who seems like she wants to really help her, and then over time it seems like the girl wants to be her and possibly get rid of her. I'm expecting big things out of this one. One by Sarah Crossan. This is a book about conjoined twins and the entire story is told in prose, which I've been wanting to read that for a while. I haven't read any Ellen Hopkins, but I've been really wanting to read a novel told in prose for a long time, so this will be my first one. This one was sent to me by Bloomsbury UK as well. House of Leaves by Mark Z. Danielewski. I think I'm saying that correctly. I've been wanting to read this for a really, really long time. I don't know much about this book. All I know is that it's kind of meta in that it's supposed to be like this strange manuscript that was pieced together. These are the pages that have been passed through from person to person, and it's horrific, and maybe some bad things have happened to the people who've read it. Years ago, when House of Leaves was first passed around, it was nothing more than a badly bundled heap of paper, parts of which would occasionally surface on the internet. People start like adding to the story, things that they know about whatever this topic is. It seems like it's something that's best gone into without knowing too much. This is supposed to be like a real thing. Like kind of how the Blair Witch was one of those found footage things. This is like one of those stories, supposedly. So I've been wanting to read this for years, and I'm determined to get to it before the year is out. Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. So this is written by the author who wrote The Girl on the Train. I really enjoyed The Girl on the Train, and as soon as I heard that the author was writing something else, I was already planning on buying it. It sounds really interesting. All I let myself read was the very beginning of the flap copy, which is basically that there's a single mother that turns up dead in a river. Other women have turned up dead in the same river. I didn't let myself see anything else because I don't want to be spoiled. Really pretty cover too. I actually saw how they made this cover. The photographer basically had someone lay down and then she put a glass over the model, a little bit of grass, a little bit of dirt to make it look as if she were under the water, which I thought was really creative. Pretty. Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. All I know about the story is it's about, I feel like I told you about this before, but no, I didn't. Maybe I noted something on my Goodreads. It's about a family who has to move to Japan. It's a Korean family who has to move to Japan, and it's very hard because being ethnically Korean, they encounter lots of obstacles, and we see how the family thrives or doesn't thrive in Japan from generation to generation. I really want to read this. It's very high on my list. David Yoon from The Poptimist, really enjoyed this one. I still have my 20% off stickers. When I see these stickers, I just feel like, yes. This is by Sarah Dunnett. In the Name of the Family. This is a novel about the Borgias. I really, really love that story of the Borgias. You have Cesare Borgia, you have the Borgia Pope. I enjoyed the Borgia show on, I think it was Showtime. Interesting fact about Cesare Borgia. The old school Jesus pictures that everyone always sees, you know, Jesus is like, he's blonde, he has a really like aquiline nose, he has very like a long face and kind of like sad doe eyes. The Pope, the Borgia Pope, actually commissioned Cesare, a huge big time murderer, very calculating, really intelligent, very savvy when it came to, you know, I mean, he was a murderer, but also at the time, he got the job done. The Pope commissioned an artist to use Cesare as a model for that Jesus. So whenever you see blonde Jesus, you know, blonde, long face, really skinny nosed Jesus, that's actually Cesare Borgia. Half Resurrection Blues by Daniel Jose Older. I met Daniel Jose Older. He gave me this book actually. We met at Y'all West, which I just went to recently. It was really great. We had a Because You Love to Hate Me panel, which was awesome. So excited. July 11th. Don't forget to pre-order now, guys. And we're going to have an event too at the Grove in July. And I believe I'll double check to make sure that the date is nailed down. But Barnes & Noble, the Grove, I believe we are doing July 12th. So definitely come through. There's going to be a lot of us there. So I'm letting you know now, but I'm going to remind you before the time comes. So I'm going into this book completely blind. It's urban fantasy. He did write Shadow Shaper, which I've yet to read. It takes place in Brooklyn, and it's urban fantasy as well. So I haven't read it yet, but I'm definitely going to check this out. He's such a cool guy too. And he speaks a lot about urban fantasy, which is basically fantasy that takes place usually in a city, but in our world, and diversity. Looking forward to checking this one out. The Luminaries by Eleanor Catton. I've been meaning to, okay, no, I can't say I've been meaning. I've been hemming and hawing on this book for probably the last 3 years, however long it was when this book came out and won the Man Booker Prize. I think it was, okay, 2013. I've been meaning to read this. The few pages that I read though just didn't grab me. It just wasn't doing it for me. But my friend Maxwell Dunn of Well Done Books, he really loves this book and we have very similar tastes. Our tastes align a lot. So I went ahead, made a purchase, and mind you, all of these books that I'm showing you right now, I was not supposed to be buying any books this year. Well, I can't say no books, but I was really supposed to be limiting my book purchases because I have so many books on my shelves. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People are talking about TBR to 1, and I'm like, how about half my shelves are unread? And it's not that I don't want to read them. They're just unread because there's time. I want to read it. It plays with the Zodiac. There's something that happens on an island in New Zealand. I don't know if it's a murder mystery or something, but it's supposed to be cleverly done regarding the Zodiac. I just love great writing and great storytelling, so we'll see how the Zodiac part plays a part in this. Like I said, I flipped through a couple of pages. I was not engaged. This is 90% because Max loves this book. It's one of his favorite books, and I'm going to give it a shot. A Conjuring of Light by V.E. Schwab. I love this book. I love this series. Why can't we have 4 books? Why can't this just continue on a little more, right? I was really happy with this. I met a character that I love. Actually, probably one of my favorite characters. I was slipping out of this book jacket. One of my favorite characters in the entire series. I only met her for a hot second. I want to see some spin-offs. I would love to see one particular character's backstory, like how she got to where she is. It's an older woman. I won't say any more. But I really loved it. Also, Victoria is also part of the Because You Love to Hate Me anthology, FYI. On the Road by Jack Kerouac. This is here because I need to revisit a lot of classics. There are classics that I'm planning to revisit, reread. This I've never read before. It's supposed to be pretty good. It's like a road trip. I don't usually like road trips, but I'm willing to give this one a shot. The Sellout by Paul Beatty. This won the Man Booker Award for, I think, 2016, I think it was. And it's basically about a black man who goes to court because he wants to reinstate slavery. It sounds crazy. There's a lot of humor here. I just flipped through some of the pages. I started to read it, but I realized I wasn't in the mood for it yet. But it seems like it's up my alley. With the premise like that, I'm really interested to see where this author takes us. Michael Chabon's The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. Comic books, 2 Jewish boys or young men, New York City, 1939. I know nothing else. I feel like I need to check out one of Chabon's works because people are always referencing them, and this apparently is one of his classics. Joshua Ford, Dylan Thuris, and Ella Morton. This is basically an explorer's guide to the world's hidden wonders. I love atlases. We've spoken about that before. I love maps. And this is basically about all of the weird, cool, crazy, unbelievable things that exist here on Earth, natural and otherwise. The Walled City. Someone wrote a book about the Walled City too. I believe it was called, The Walled City. Mummified Buddhist monks. The Mound of Ears. Some of this stuff was kind of scary. There are so many cool things in this book and so many cool places. I think it's pretty. Oh yeah, it is. We have such a beautiful planet, so many interesting wonders. I think this is definitely a book worth keeping on your coffee table and just like flipping through every now and then. I feel like I've had to control my digressions with you today because I haven't seen you in so long and you haven't seen me. We haven't spoken in such a long time. I have like so much to say about like all these different things. So bear with me, but I'm really happy to be here. I missed you guys. I said that already. White Teeth by Zadie Smith. I really would have loved if the paperback cover was the same red, like that vibrant red of the hardcover, but I like this orange too, and it feels really good. It's one of those paperbacks that just feel really soft and fluffy. Love that. Americana is the same way. I don't know anything about this at all. All I know is it takes place in the UK. We're dealing with class, race, 3 cultures, 3 families over 3 generations, friendship, love, war. I love that. I love epic stories. That's all I know about this. It would be my first Zadie Smith read. I want to read Swing Time, but I didn't want to read Swing Time without reading at least one of her other work. I peeked into NW and I just wasn't in the mood for it, but I literally only read maybe 2 pages. So I think I'll just go with White Teeth and then see where it goes from here. Can't wait for this one. This is probably one that I really want to get to within the next month or 2. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. It's shimmery. It's so pretty. This is a fantasy about a world in which another world or city, it could have been an angelic city, I'm not sure, was destroyed. It's called Weep. No one knows the name of this city, so it's now known as Weep. And there are blue people. There's a girl in this story who's blue and she falls from the sky in the very first page, I think is the prologue. She falls from the sky and everyone's afraid. We'll learn why and what this means. And it's about Laszlo, or is his name Lorenzo? Laszlo Strange, who's a librarian and he's sweet and earnest as far as Laini Taylor's explained him in the interviews that I've seen. So I'm really excited to get into this. I loved the Daughter in Smoke and Bone series. So really looking forward to this one. And it's so blue. Blue is one of my favorite colors. Another gift from Bloomsbury, the illustrated Harry Potter. I've had my eyes on these for a long time. It's got the illustrations here and the parentheses are definitely the UK style. They use single parentheses when people are speaking versus 2. So I'm looking forward to flipping through the pages, revisit. They are also coming out with house sets, like house box sets, so a Slytherin Harry Potter collection. They keep coming out with new editions. I'm not going to get them all, of course, but I do plan on getting the house set, although I don't know what to do because I am a Slytherin, right? I've always been Slytherin, but I'm also very Ravenclaw. Like I'm 50-50, so I'm really Slytherclaw. So I don't know which one to get. It's just like when I went to Harry Potter World, I didn't know if I should get like Slytherin paraphernalia or if I should grab like a Ravenclaw shirt. So I ended up picking a Slytherin sweatshirt and I got Slytherin socks so I could wear for Sock Sunday for the gram when I'm sitting there maybe rereading. I think I want to reread The House of the Phoenix, maybe. Anyhow, I didn't pick up anything from Ravenclaw. Maybe I'll do that here in LA. I'll go to the place and I'll buy some Ravenclaw gear and kind of like mix it up. But yeah, I'm like conflicted because I feel like you can't, yes, you can say you're Slytherclaw, but when you're going to the school, when you're gonna rep your colors and you're set, and it's so weird. Angie Thomas was like, someone was telling her it was like a gang, and I was like, it is kind of gang. It's like you're repping your colors, you're repping your set, you have your whole little gang and your whole crew. Anyhow, you can't be both. You have to choose. You can't be walking around with Ravenclaw socks and a Slytherin scarf and, you know what I mean? Like I need to make that decision and I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready. And finally, The Little Book of Skincare by Charlotte Cho. This was sent to me by Charlotte. She sent me this book. So thanks, Charlotte. If you're not familiar with Korean skincare, there's like the 10-step program. And Charlotte's done loads of interviews. So you could Google her name, Charlotte Cho, C-H-O. Double cleansing with oil cleanser and the regular cleanser. And then going through with essences, toners. Toners in Korea tend to be more sensitive, less alcohol based, less like a witch hazel kind of vibe that you get in the West. So they're more like moisturizing. The thing is, a lot of people kind of do a lot of the steps if they're really super into skincare anyway, but she breaks it down in a way that's really easy to understand why you're doing certain things, why things are in a certain order, which things combine well, which don't. Go to her site, sokoglam.com, or it's soko.com. But she has a lot on her site. This book really breaks down a lot of like Korean skincare. My mom is so happy that I'm using the double cleansing, because she's been telling me to double cleanse for years. I would do the makeup remover, like the towel and the little cleansing cloth, and then I would do go straight into my cleanser. Now I'm doing the cleansing cloth and then the quick little oil cleanser, which takes off things like sunscreen and oil-based things, and then washing my face with currently a green tea cleanser. My mom is sending me a green tea cleanser to try too. One I'm using now is Neogen, which I ordered from her site. And my mom is sending me a green tea cleanser, but I don't know what brand it is. And she's also sending me like masks and all kinds of stuff. I was like, thanks, Mommy. And I actually ordered my mom and my sister snail mucin from the SoCo site. The SoCo site doesn't make the products, but they just curate certain brands, certain Korean brands, so you can find a way to get them in the United States. It's very curated though, so it's pretty small. So if you don't find what you need, then you can go ahead and go somewhere else. But I would be wary of trying places on Amazon if you're not sure that you know someone who's tried that retailer, or if they don't have a lot of reviews. I really think it's great what Charlotte's doing. I've purchased a lot from her site. The snail mucin is really great. Well, I won't go too far into this because I'm going to do a whole new video just on the skincare I've been using, and some of the stuff that I've been using is amazing. I still have some of my holy grail stuff. You know, I always stick with my eye cream. The snail mucin, yes. We will talk about that. We will get to that. But in the meantime, this is one of the books that I have, SOKO Glam. They do have a YouTube channel, so definitely check that out. So that was my pretty massive book haul. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to like the video. If you liked it, don't forget to comment. Let me know what you're reading this month. Let me know what you picked up recently. Are you on a book buying ban right now? Because I know I should be. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, bye! Good to see your face again.